Hey financial educator, tell me if this sounds familiar to you. You're teaching budgeting, but when you do so, the kids aren't really interested. They're not quite grasping what you're talking about because it doesn't really feel real to them. It doesn't feel relevant to their lives, and therefore they can't really grasp onto that important message that you're trying to impart, that budgeting is a key skill for any personal finance class, and particularly if you want to build financial independence in the future. When I was at a financial content creators conference called FinCon, I met the My Budget Coach team, and we talked about our different struggles, me particularly with budgeting and how I was trying to impart to students, and then they also have this really amazing budgeting tool that helps adults to learn how to budget. I'm like, we've got to find a way to connect these two, and sure enough, we were able to work together and come up with this resource that you're checking out right now. The My Budget Coach team helped create a specific version of their product for educators to use with their students. The students do not have to log in, they do not have to leave an email, and they will be able to access the simulation and get coached through the process of how to create a budget. So you'll have me, certified financial education instructor, high school personal finance teacher, national board certified teacher, knows a lot about how to teach kids personal finance, and then pairing it with the My Budget Coach tool. I am the coach inside of the tool who's going to help walk the students through the process of tracking their income, creating a budget, so actually dividing the money up into categories, figuring out how much to allocate to each category. It's like, how much should I put in there if it's like a generic budget? And then how do I adjust this to my own personal needs, my priorities, and the stuff that just comes up during the month. The best part for you as a teacher is that you get to sit back and become the facilitator. I'm going to show the students everything. You get to just float around the room, make sure there's no technical issues, and then ask great probing questions. Which it's not an AI tool, it's not a bot, it's just a preloaded script that is going to have the students engage with me and go through the steps of creating a budget. So there is no tracking of student data, there's no input of their own information, and actually they're able to go back and access their budget again, which I think is a really cool feature, and they don't have to have an account to do it, which is also really nice, of course, as you know, because protecting our students' data is so important. All right, so here's what you get in the Create a Working Budget resource powered by My Budget Coach. You're going to get the simulation. So this is unlimited access to it. We're not talking about a license per student. It's not something that you have to renew every year. You buy it once, it's yours forever. Use it as many times as you want. There's an accompanying student reflection / activity document. It's just something that they're going to do whilst they have the simulation open. It gives them a place to think about the prompts, to reflect on what they are doing or how they're spending their money, and then also to do some of the calculations that would go with figuring out what their budget amount would be in each category. You'll get the teacher instructions, which are everything you need to walk you through how to set this up and go. So I'm taking all of the work off your shoulders. Here's what you do, here's how you assign it, here's the steps in which you do it, and it's ready to go. There's really not much you have to do on your end. Finally, I threw in a bonus activity for you as well. If you want to go a little bit further and you want to involve the adults at home, so the parents, the guardians, the friends, the neighbors, whoever the student can communicate with, I've got an email template for you that you can send home to parents, guardians, letting them know like, hey, this is what we're doing in class. This is a really cool thing that we're doing. Here's what a zero-based budget is. I've got an infographic to go with it that shows how a generic budget should be divided up amongst the categories. So you can inform the parents, kind of a newsletter style, and then also invite them to give feedback to the student about their budget. You've got over 20 hours of work that went into making this resource by me and the My Budget Coach team that you don't have to do anymore. That's gonna be over $500 in your money that is saved and 20 plus hours of time saved in making this happen. So if you're ready to ditch the boring, stale budgeting lessons where you're up at the top talking and the students aren't really paying attention or they're not really internalizing and getting excited about it, try this out, and I will see you in the My Budget Coach simulation.